Hello everybody, how are you doing today? Just got home from work a few minutes ago. Having a little pick-me-up, some dark chocolate, a little 60% cocoa. Good stuff, good for the heart. Don't quote me on that. Today I'm not going to be doing, I went and dug the 1/2-inch pipe PVC out of the shed, but I don't know that I'll get to the cooler boxes right away. I've got my mower here. This is a mower that I bought last year. I'll show it to you. It's a little Honda mower, or I'm sorry, Troy-built mower with a Honda motor on it. And I paid 50 bucks for it. It's self-propelled. It got me through last year. The thing starts when you just look at it. It starts and runs great. Problem is the blade, and it has a mulching blade, and the blade last year was dull and needed to be sharpened, but I just went ahead and finished out the year. My plan was to change the oil and to sharpen the blade at the end of the year and winterize the mower, and I let things get away from me, and I hate to say this, but I did not do it. So today I'm going to go ahead and drain the remaining gas out of it and hope that it didn't separate in there and varnish up or anything. I'm going to pull the blade off and do my best to sharpen it. I'm not great at sharpening blades, but I'm going to do my best to sharpen it. It was super dull last year, so I'm betting it's probably never been sharpened. And I'm going to go ahead and get the oil drained out of it, and tomorrow on the way home from work, I'll swing in and pick up a little oil for the motor. I need to look up online if they recommend a special oil. I know the Briggs & Stratton, they always use the Briggs & Stratton oil. Probably can use the same stuff. I don't know, but I'll look that up tonight. I'll look up what this mower recommends. And we'll clean the air filter and just kind of, fiddle around with a little bit tonight and just make sure it's ready to go, because with these warm spells we've been having, my grass is probably 8 inches tall at some spots. It's not 8 inches all over the place. There's just patches where it's real tall, and then there are patches where it hadn't grown at all. And I need to get this thing done, because hopefully I'll put the oil in it tomorrow, and if the weather holds, I may go ahead and run the mower over the yard tomorrow night and clean it up. But that is a real long explanation for, I'm going to change the oil and sharpen the blade tonight. I'll keep you guys posted. I want to show you guys this blade. Let me flip around to the other camera and we'll take a close look at it. Look at that thing, how round how round the blade is on either end. What I'm going to do is just take a putty knife and clean some of this grass off of it, this dried grass, and I'm just going to take it to my grinder and just very lightly run. Actually, I think what I may do, I may put in a vise and use a file and just kind of file that edge down a little bit. Like I said, I'm no expert at doing this. I'm just going to try to make it a little better than it is, and probably next year I'll just buy a replacement blade, because this one's taking quite a beating. Okay, talk to you in a little bit. Here's my setup. I just decided to use a couple of clamps. I put a block of wood under my table so that I could level it up, because there's a lip on this wing, and clamped it down really good. And I've just been taking a file and running it evenly down the blade, and it's looking really good. What I'm going to do now is kind of like I do with my turning tools. This is getting sharper, but it needs to get a little bit sharper than it is, and I want to make sure that I grind it evenly. So I'm going to go ahead and paint a black line on here with a marker, so that as I file this, the black marker should come off evenly to let me know that I'm not putting a bunch of wavy grooves in it. I still have to come up and get this part of the blade. Oops, out of camera there. Have to get this part of the blade, but I'm going to focus on this first, and then I've got a round file to come in here and do this part, and then we'll come up top and clean up the top piece. One step at a time. Using the marker worked really well, because it allowed me to lay the file on the blade at a nice angle and really just sort of lay a good edge on there, and it's sharp. I was told not to make it like a razor where you can, cut the hair off your arm, because the grass is going to be damp and pulpy, and it's going to dull it anyway. But you just want to have a nice consistent angle on the blade. And then I filed a burr on the bottom. Looks really good. I'm happy with it. I didn't take a lot off. I had a couple of nicks to take out. The toughest spot for me was the it's hard to point, but the very tip of the blade, because it was round. So I really had to work the tip, but it's sharp. It feels good all the way across. I'm gonna go get it put back on the mower. Well, I went ahead and fired the mower up, and sucker went on the first pull. I'm happy about that. And I thought, what the heck, I'm gonna go ahead and knock the grass down. So I just ran over the yard real quick. I'm not gonna trim or anything like that. My goal was just to knock the the high grass down, and I did that. And I'm sitting there looking at it, and I can't find the oil drain plug. Usually it's underneath, somewhere up around the blade. But since I cut the grass, there's a lot of damp grass up in there, so I'm having trouble finding it. I'm gonna go in, look up the owner's manual on the internet, and then once I do that, we'll go ahead and figure out exactly where that drain plug is. And I'll come back out, pull the plug, and set it on my oil pan. Just let it drain overnight. That way tomorrow all I have to do is put the plug back in and dump some oil in it. Talk to you guys later. Have a great evening, and we'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye. Quick update. I found the oil drain plug. I need to take the blade back off, and there's a plastic housing that's above the blade. Once the blade is removed, that housing drops down, and the oil drain plug is below that housing. So I'm going to go in, have a little dinner, and then I'll come back after dinner and get that out of there. My wife just hollered and said, "It's on the table, come and eat." So I like to get it while it's hot. We'll talk to you later. Have a great evening, and I'll keep you guys posted if anything else happens. Bye-bye.